In solo leveling, after Thomas Andre noticed that every single one of his guild members were getting one-sidedly beaten by Sung Jin-Woo's shadow army, he suddenly launched himself towards Rizzy Woo at an incredible speed, but Iron quickly intercepted him attempting to block the attack, though Andre managed to punch him out of the way with minimal difficulty, telling him to move. Andre noticed that Jin-Woo was nowhere to be seen, making him question where he had gone. But he suddenly appeared at his side in the fraction of a second, swinging his dagger at his ribcage at full force. But the attack was unable to even leave a single scratch on him, leaving Sung Jin-Woo wide open for a counterattack, making Andre quickly launch a devastating blow to Rizzy Woo's right shoulder, which sent him flying. He asked if he was really trying to look down on the power of a national-level hunter, activating his psychokinesis skill, pulling Jin-Woo right towards him. Andre shouted, telling him to feel the difference in their strength and despair, making Diddy Woo lock back into the fight, activating his own unique ability, Ruler's Authority, completely overpowering Thomas Andre's skill. He questioned if he planned on crushing him like this, but it seemed more like he was holding him fixed in place, completely shocking Andre since Jin-Woo decided to attack even as he was being pulled towards him. Jin-Woo suddenly managed to land a devastating blow right on Andre's face, launching him across the factory, making him question if he was really bleeding, but without even being able to catch his breath, Jin-Woo suddenly popped in right in front of him, asking him if this was really the despair he wanted him to feel, launching continuous blows towards him at immeasurable speeds. Tired of the continuous attacks, Andre stated that he would now stop underestimating his opponent, locking back in and activating his unique ability, Reinforcement. As a convoy of vehicles drive towards the ongoing battle, the driver tells Adam White that it's about time he explains what the hell is going on. He responded saying that there wasn't any time to explain in detail, but the driver suddenly sensed that there was something wrong, telling Adam White that he might not be able to tell since he's a normal civilian, but if they go any further than this, they'd be risking their lives. Seeing Thomas Andre's transformation reminded Jin-Woo of Kamish's warning, saying that there were 4 humans who had borrowed the ruler's strength and that it's possible that they are among the 5 who survived the Kamish raid, meaning they might be the 4 national-level hunters, with Thomas Andre being one of them. Jin-Woo suddenly dashed towards Andre at immeasurable speeds, making him quickly raise his hands for an attack, stopping Rizzy Woo in his tracks, making him wonder what was to come. Andre suddenly slammed the ground with overwhelming strength, utterly crushing the ground in its entirety. Jin-Woo quickly leaped backwards in order to avoid it. That is, until Andre activated his ability, Capture. The hunters of the Scavenger Guild, knowing the power of such ability, quickly shouted, telling everyone to get away from him. The unsuspecting shadow soldiers were quickly pulled into the black hole, swallowing them in. Shocked by the power of such ability, Jin-Woo stated that he would have been sucked in if it weren't for his ruler's authority skill, which was holding him in place. Seeing that he was left unscathed, Andre suddenly shot a powerful blast, destroying the building Jin-Woo was standing on, but he managed to dodge the attack with ease, landing on a steel beam while staring down above him, making Andre state that he wouldn't be missing with his next shot. The previous attack having injured most of the hunters from the Scavenger Guild, a hunter quickly shouted, saying to move as far away from Andre as possible in order to avoid getting in the middle of such a gruesome battle. Andre prepared to go after Rizzy Woo, launching himself towards him at immeasurable speeds, and as soon as he was about to make impact, Jin-Woo instantly stepped on Andre's face, launching himself backwards. Not wanting him to get away, he quickly activated his capture skill, attempting to pull him right towards him, but Jin-Woo suddenly activated his ruler's authority skill, extending his hand backwards, leaving Andre confused since he was trying to pull him towards him while accelerating, making him question if he was planning to face him head-on. Andre activated reinforcement on his left hand, saying if that was the case, then he would take him on gladly. A devastating clash ensued between the strongest man in America, Thomas Andre, versus the nonchalant Riz King, Sung Jin-Woo. But inevitably, Andre ended up losing the clash, which sent him flying through the warehouse with Drippy Woo following right after him. Andre went berserk, jumping out of the rubble. As Rizzy Woo dashed right towards him, he attempted a counterattack, launching a devastating blow, but Drippy Woo managed to dodge the attack with ease, grabbing his armor's horns and knee-kicking him right in the face with immeasurable strength, which ended up cracking his helmet. Outside of the warehouse, the Hunter Bureau finally arrived at the scene with both the driver and Adam White in absolute shock, while watching the ongoing battle, asking themselves just what kind of monsters are they to be emitting this much magical energy. The driver explains to Adam that he should really brace himself since being here was extremely dangerous. As the warehouse began to collapse, Adam asked if that was really who he thought it was, making the driver confirm his suspicions, saying that was indeed Thomas Andre. The driver asked what they should do in this current situation. Adam responded, saying that they must stop them at all costs, making the driver ask how the fuck were they supposed to stop Andre from getting the shit beat out of him by Sung Jin-Woo. Agents of the Hunter Bureau couldn't do anything but watch, since getting in the middle of such a battle would only end in their deaths. As Drippy Woo kept pummeling Andre into the ground, he wondered how. How could a mage-type hunter produce such insane strength and speed? He questioned if he was really going to lose, stating that there was no way that was possible. Something like that could never happen to him. But as he felt every single one of Drippy Woo's blows, he denied it even further, saying that the only thing that defined him was his overwhelmingly oppressive violence. He suddenly stood up shouting that he is Thomas Andre, asking if he really thought this was enough to take him down. That is until Drippy Woo struck him from behind, saying that he had already told him, telling him that it didn't matter who he was. The hunters could only watch as their guildmaster was getting utterly destroyed into oblivion, making Adam White shout, asking and begging for him to stop. But that didn't stop Drippy Woo from pounding him over and over again. No diddy. Thomas Andre was getting hit with blow after blow, punch after punch, relentlessly getting pummeled into the ground. That is until he said the words, "It's over," stopping Papa Woo in his tracks. "I lost," Andre stated. The hunters watch on as the battle ultimately ended in Andre's defeat. Adam White couldn't believe his eyes, saying that to reduce the great Thomas Andre to such a state, asking how many hunters in the world could do such a feat, questioning if there are even any who could do so in the first place, stating that once this news gets out, it will shake the entire world completely. Adam White ordered the healer to heal him as quickly as possible, but the healer stated that every single one of his bones in his body had been broken, and since he had severe blood loss as well, he alone wouldn't be enough for this, saying that it would be better for all the healers to treat him together. The healer stated that it was only because he's a national-level hunter that he was able to survive this long, saying that any other hunter would have died at least 10 times over from this amount of damage. But luckily, it didn't look like anyone had died from this devastating battle. Adam White covered his face, saying that at least this was the best outcome that could have occurred. But suddenly, a bureau agent shouted, telling him to look over there, saying that Hunter Hwang Dong-soo wasn't breathing and that his heart wasn't beating, and that Sung Drippy Woo was nowhere to be seen. Back in Korea, at the top of a building, Rizzy Woo stated that he had used Shadow Exchange in order to swap locations with Baru, and asked the shadowy being next to him if it had been a while since he had been to Korea, saying that what he was looking at right at this moment was the city of Seoul. He stated that as they spoke, Baru was busy healing Jinho to the best of his abilities in America. "My king," the shadow soldier called out, making Papa Wu respond, asking, "What is it?" The general grade shadow soldier kneeled down in one knee, asking him to bestow a name upon him as well. Drippy Woo responded, asking how the name Greed sounded to him, since he had died being a greedy MF, and asked Hwang Dong-soo what he thought about it and if he liked it. "Thank you, my king," Greed responded, making Drippy Woo order him to put his head back on the ground as punishment for the crimes he had committed when he was alive. The next day at the International Guild Conference, Sung Jin-Woo had finally arrived and questioned why there were so many reporters around today. The deputy director of the Hunter Bureau responded, saying that it seemed like the reporters were already well aware of the fight that occurred between him and Thomas Andre, and that it would be difficult for him to escape the attention. He stated that they had already secured a testimony from Hwang Dong-soo's party, saying that the Hunter Bureau would ensure that the truth behind the incident comes to light. Drippy Woo thought to himself, saying that he didn't want to think about Dong-soo anymore, since there was just one reason he had came to America, and as soon as his questions are answered, he would have no business being here anymore. The deputy handed over a pair of wireless earbuds without even the case to Drippy Woo, saying he would be translating the contents of the presentation to him with them. The Riz King finally arrived inside the building where the meeting, which contained the top-ranking hunters from every single country in the world, was being held. Feeling Drippy Woo's immaculate aura, the hunters turned to look at the man who defeated Thomas Andre, with Liu Jigang smiling at the sight of Rizzy Woo wearing one of his toughest fits yet. Hit that follow thing.